Channel Payments Manager extension, or CPM for short, allows you to integrate your Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central software to Stripe's digital payment platform. This gives you the freedom to work with an external solution that meets your payment processing and collection needs while still being able to use your ERP system. CPM is embedded directly within your Business Central environment, allowing for a streamlined communication between Business Central and Stripe. One of the important features of the CPM integration to Stripe is that it retrieves all activity that's recorded in your Stripe platform into Business Central, not just those activities that are initiated from Business Central itself. Suite Engine recognizes that there may be avenues beyond Business Central by which you accept payments into Stripe, and we want to ensure that the transactions you retrieve from Stripe provide you with a full picture of your payment platform activity. Now, because of this, there are scenarios where CPM will retrieve a payment or some other transaction type from Stripe, and it's unable to post it. A common example would be that the customer in question hasn't been properly linked between Business Central and Stripe. But regardless of the reason, CPM still retrieves this information into Business Central. But instead of posting it, it enters that transaction into what we call the Transaction Worksheet. From here, you can review the worksheet entries and you can make a determination as to how you want to process them. So to illustrate this, we have our CPM payment platform for Stripe. And let's take a look at the customer links that we've established. The process for linking a Stripe customer to a Business Central customer is covered in a separate setup video, and I won't be walking through that here. But what I want to point out is that you can see we have a customer that we've retrieved from Stripe, the Adatum Corporation, but we've not linked it to a Business Central customer. The customer number field here is blank. I'm now going to toggle to my connected Stripe account, and I'm going to initiate a customer payment. The key thing to note here is that I am not processing this transaction through Business Central. I'm doing it here directly through Stripe, but this could be done through any sort of external activity. Maybe it's some sort of, I don't know, point of sale solution or something like that. It doesn't really matter. But the key thing is that we're not doing this through Business Central. So I enter this payment into Stripe. It's $350. And you'll notice it was for that Adatum Corporation, which we had not linked in Business Central. I'll submit the payment. And we can see there's our let's refresh this. There we go, our $350 payment here. Let's toggle back to Business Central. And I'm going to run the payment automation process to retrieve activity from Stripe. This has been discussed in other setup videos. Normally, this automation would be scheduled to run on a recurring basis. But for the purposes of this demonstration, I've manually executed it. You can see here that the automation is complete. Let's go ahead now and open the Transaction Worksheet, which we can reach through standard search functionality. As you can see, we've retrieved a few different transactions from Stripe, including the $350 payment that we just processed. Stripe has a fee structure where they will assess a fee per transaction. You can see that has actually been brought through as well. So we have a fee of $10.45 on this activity for a net payment of $339.55. Um, you can see that this entry, as well as the others, have a status of not linked. What this means is that CPM couldn't associate the external channel customer to a corresponding Business Central customer. That makes sense. As we saw, we had not created that linkage for our payment platform in Business Central. We don't have any examples here, but there is another posting status type called not posted. In that scenario, the associations or the linkages are there, but for some reason, CPM is still unable to post the transaction. Uh, this is kind of like your standard reasons for why you wouldn't be able to post in Business Central. Maybe you're missing like a general posting setup, for example. Maybe the customer record is blocked, something like that. The idea here, though, is that we can now review and fix or address these lines. And there's a few different actions that we can execute. One of the things we can do is at the uh, payment platform level is define what we call a default posting account. And we can execute this default posting account action to automatically assign this account as the posting account for selected worksheet lines. So just quickly, I'll go back to our Stripe platform. You can see we've defined a default posting account, GL account 40600. If I return to my transaction worksheet, and let's select our first two lines, for example, and execute this action, you can see it updates the posting account type to GL account and the posting account number to 40600. This is useful in scenarios where you have some sort of standard account to which you want to post activities. You might want to follow up on them and review them at a later time. Maybe you want to get the revenue into your GL, now, and then kind of deal with the review at a later point, something like that. So that's one option that's available to you. Another action that's here is this link to payment or refund action. When you run this action against, again, selected lines, CPM will attempt to relink them to a customer. And this is kind of useful in a scenario where, let's say you neglected to link a Business Central customer to a Stripe customer. It's like in our example where we didn't link that Adatum customer that we retrieved from Stripe to a Business Central customer. Well, what we could do, let's say instead of retrieving just one line, we'd retrieved 100 lines worth of information from that customer. What we could do is we could go set up that linkage for the CPM payment platform, return to this transaction worksheet, select the relevant lines, execute this action, and CPM would attempt to relink them according to any sort of updated setup. And then the final option we have here is update posting account. This is more of a hands-on option where you can specify the account to which you want to post the transaction. So let's select our $350 line and choose this action. You'll see we're presented with a separate screen. And here we can enter the posting account type and number. So we'll pick a customer account and we'll pick our Adatum Corporation customer. It's also possible for us to select an applies to document type and applies to document number if we wish. I will leave this information blank for now, meaning that when I post this worksheet line, it will be entered as a unapplied customer ledger entry, but we certainly could apply this to a document if we knew what we wanted to enter at this point. I'll choose the update action, and you can see that our line is now updated accordingly. Regardless of which option or combination of options we choose for our lines, we can post selected lines on the transaction worksheet with this post selected transactions action. This is useful in that you can select certain lines, I should say, and post them in batches if necessary. But for the sake of expediency, I'm simply going to select all lines. and I'm going to post them all. When I do this, the lines will be posted according to the posting information that's been entered on them. I say yes, and it posts my lines. Let's open our customer ledger entries. And you can see here that we have a new and unapplied entry for our $350. And it's been applied to the customer account that we specified. It's important to note that the final word of Channel Payments Manager is manager. In a perfect world, every transaction that you retrieve from Stripe will be properly mapped and posted as desired. However, we know that the world isn't always perfect, and to accommodate that imperfection, we provide you with the tools to properly manage the activities that you retrieve from Stripe. We feel that it's really important that your Stripe integration retrieve all activity into your ERP system, not just those activities that were explicitly initiated from the Business Central platform. In this way, your ERP system is truly kept in sync with your external payment collection platform.